This holiday, BMW has reunited 3 members of the family at the BMW Road Home Sales event. The Agile X3, engineered for any adventure. The plug-in hybrid X5, commanding the streets with unmatched presence. And the all-electric i4, charging into the future with impeccable performance. Hurry in to find what powers your journey at the BMW Road Home Sales event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Visit Valley BMW Center today for attractive lease and finance offers.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Ho, 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 and stuff. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Hops Geek News, your home for comic books, movies, TV shows, and usually we shout out a beer of the week. I'm Matt. Alongside me, who is off screen at the moment taking interesting influencer photos, is Lauren. And today's episode, we are going to be talking about our favorite Christmas TV episodes because we are mere week and a half away from Christmas already. Time is flying. I don't know what to do.
It's terrible.
Yeah, I'm scared. Really, really scared. But hey, if this is your first time joining, thanks so much for hanging out with us. I hope you decide to stay. And if you do, go ahead and drop a review, like, subscribe, share, follow, help the podcast grow. And if you also have not been here before, we start off with a beer of the week. We go into what we might have messed up on a previous episode because accountability is key, folks. And then we talk about what we are reading or watching lately before going into some news. And then finally, our main topic, which again is Christmas TV episodes. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. My beer this week is from Hardywood Brewing right out there in Richmond, Virginia. I'm local to this area. It is the American Single Malt Gingerbread Stout, an imperial milk stout aged in single malt whiskey barrels. Dude, this is 12.5%. I'm about to recall some family trauma by the end of this bottle, so you just wait, all right?
Nothing more Christmas than family trauma.
I'm telling you, nothing gets more Christmassy and in the mood like family trauma, and every barrel and beer aged within has a story. This special barrel-aged gingerbread stout has been patiently aging for several months in American single malt whiskey barrels from the Virginia Distillery Company. The approach to this barrel-aged GBS is a bit different than normal, spicing the imperial milk stout prior to the aging process to impart our famed gingerbread stout flavors into the barrel staves. After emptying the barrels, we will return them to Virginia Distillery Company, where they will be used as the finishing barrels for one of their fine spirits. This is just like a big hit. Like Hardywood does a lot of their GBS series. It's a really big thing for folks. So, hey, if that's your thing, great. But don't worry, if alcohol is not your thing, this is not an alcohol-based show. We just like to shout out our beer of the week to get folks into local comic book stores, local craft breweries, things like that. And Lauren, speaking of, what do you have over there this week?
So I think I actually mentioned this one last week. This is Peppermint Kathy. It is a mint imperial stout. It is from 12 Talons Brewery, which is still fairly new. And one of the things I love about this beer is, I do think I've told you this story, is that it's real peppermint, because first time I had it was last year and I was like, this is so much better than a lot of the peppermint beers I've had lately with stouts and porters, because it almost felt like, I don't want to say toothpaste, but not
it's like that
mint
flavor. You can tell. Yeah.
Right. And when I said that to the guy there, he was like, yeah, because we use real peppermint. I was like, oh, no shit. That makes sense. So this
can't even see the lines, can you, Russ?
And you know what's amazing is I bought Christmas wine glasses a million years ago and I still put them out because, they're pretty. So I was like, I'm going to use this because it has candy canes. This is a 16-ounce pour into this one wine glass.
Oh Lord! Yeah, how much?
So I didn't know that these white wine.
This is only a 12 ounce.
Yeah, but
I didn't realize
a
wine glass held 16 ounces either. Well, it's like when you pour wine in those big glasses, it's supposed to look bigger, so you don't feel as bad pouring as much wine in there. I don't know. Maybe that's just what the stay-at-home moms tell themselves, I guess.
I always drink red wine, and it said to fill it to the whitest part of the glass. I don't know where you're supposed to fill white wine.
I didn't know there was a fill line till the bottle's empty.
I'm going to an anniversary party this Saturday at a wine place, so I will find out and I will report back.
Ooh, I love wineries, man. I love a good wine and Hallmark movie. Hey. Speaking of Hallmark movies, we don't have anything of what we've messed up on or looked into. So let's roll into what we've been reading or watching. And your boy here is the Hallmark Christmas movie expert.
Okay. I feel like I should time you. When I'm done hearing about Hallmark movies, I'm just going to start singing Jingle Bells.
There you go. All right. So the first one I did was A Christmas Quest. It has Lacey Chabert in it. This one, dude, Hallmark is on some good stuff this year because it is not she leaves, he leaves, big city to go to small town to work at Christmas Tree Farm and bake cookies. No, dude, they're going all over. So this one is in Iceland.
Isn't that why people liked the Hallmark movies? Because they were predictable and cozy and
But these still have the same Christmas spirit. So all the movies I'm going to talk to, they're all vastly different, but they have the same Christmas spirit. They capture the heart of Christmas still. It's there. The adventure, the Christmas spirit, the love.
Is it the pre-Grinch heart or the post-Grinch heart?
No, it's like the post-Grinch. Like, it just feels good, man. You can just sit there and, this one she is looking for this treasure in Iceland. She, her mom was like a treasure hunter as well. Her mom had passed, so she's trying to finish her mom's legacy. She's also a professor. Kind of sounds familiar if you ask me.
I was going to say this sounds familiar.
And the only person who can help her translate Icelandic is her ex-husband. So they go off on this adventure like James Bond style, Indiana Jones style. Yeah, man, it's an adventure through Iceland, but it's good. Legitimately good. The chemistry with the cast. The next one I watched was A Finnish Race. Now, dad was a famous
So is this another Scandinavian style story?
Because her dad was a famous Finnish dog sled racer. Yeah, mush. And they moved to Arizona. She was born. Her mom passed away. Her dad passed away. Now she is a famous dog sled racer.
You
in her
say
father's
she
footsteps.
Is a dog. That was a turn I didn't see coming. She's a skinwalker.
But what's really cool is she goes to this race that her father lost at. It was like his last race he lost. So it's all about his legacy. She's in his footsteps. The guy who beat her dad is there. He's obviously the antagonist. And, the chemistry she had with the lead, his first name is Bo. I can't remember the last name, but he's really good. The chemistry these two had in it, she's very competitive. It's not a mushy love, honestly, dude. It's she's trying to get over this grieving of her family and win this race. And the love is kind of there. And it's around Christmas time. Her cousin is from Finland and she meets her whole extended family and it's great. I also watched Twas the Date Before Christmas. Now, our lead character,
who is decides got to be one of 5 actresses.
No, actually she's newer, I think I want to say. So she decides that, hey, I am going to hit up and go have a blind date to bring to my family's Christmas. Turns out her fiance passed away a couple years prior. And so she wants to bring a
Did he pass away on Christmas?
No, no, actually, no. She doesn't hate Christmas.
Her heart again.
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, she's very bubbly. Okay, this has a returning. The male lead is a returner to the cast. He is God, what is his name again? It's Robert Buckley, who plays Brian. And the Amy Groening plays Jessie, who's our main character, right? So her family does Christmas Olympics. It's a really big thing in the house. And so she hits up on, whatever their version of Tinder is. They match. She's like, hey, I just want to, come. Do you want to go on a blind date to my family's Christmas? He's like, yeah, I don't really have a family. Why not? This sounds fun. But plot twist, he is a developer. And it turns out her sister-in-law is the last standing development in the city of Boston that owns this candle shop, and his company is trying to evict her. Oh no, what will happen? But
are her candles made of soy, or is she slowly killing everybody with her neurotoxins?
Oh, I don't know. All I know is they had great chemistry in this movie too. This movie's fun as hell. I want Christmas Olympics in my house. This family was awesome. The dad in this movie was amazing.
Tradition.
He was, and the brother in this movie, he's Andrew. His name is Christopher Jacott. Anyways, he was in an episode of Supernatural. Funny enough, I recognized him from Supernatural, so you should be proud.
Look at you. I am proud.
But
there I know Lois Lane does some Hallmark movies, and I know
they
Lisa,
all kind of do,
that dated Dean, because I listened to the Then and Now Supernatural podcast, and I think she said she recently did a Lifetime movie. What'd you say?
How I Met Your Mother's Victoria is known for Hallmark movies now, which she was just in one I watched, but I forget the name, unfortunately. But she was really good in that. Looking a little older, but man, she's still fine.
Did in How I Met Your Mother.
No, she was awesome in this movie. I watched also A Holiday Touchdown. This is that Chiefs love story movie. It is. It's the Holiday Love Story. Chiefs
Patterns is a shockingly amazing turn of events in the Hallmark movie industry.
This has Hunter King, actually. So Hunter King, who I was like, wow, she looks really familiar. Well, it turns out it's Joey King's sister. And I was like, oh my God, there's another one of them.
I don't know who these people are. Should I know who these people are?
Joey King. A lot of people don't like her for some reason. I don't really know. She plays Alana. Tyler Hines, who we were convinced was like some country music star from Tennessee, is none of those things. He's actually from Toronto. But Ed Begley Jr., he's in this movie. Who, if you saw his face,
I have seen her in something. She was
Christine
in that really good
Ebersole.
train movie. I thought she was good in that.
Yeah. No. Oh yeah, she was good in that.
Uglies.
Yep.
Well,
Her sister Hunter
saw
in this movie.
Oh, and she's the little one from Ramona and Beezus.
Yeah, that's her.
Why don't people like her?
I don't know. Carrie doesn't like her, so I just assume like this is big. Anyways, you would know a lot of these cast members. So Christine Ebersole, who is from like a lot of the 90s movies.
It came up.
Yeah, she's in it. Diedrich Bader, he's in this movie. Ed Begley Jr.'s in this movie, and then
I definitely know him.
Rydell. Yeah, so they're even in this movie too. So like they got a lot of people. Obviously, it's the NFL. They're reaching out to like a wider audience, so they got some like football players like Trent Green.
Dude, okay, so how are the football players though? Because when I would watch the league, you always knew when it was a real football player because they couldn't act shit.
No, you knew. They would stand out too. But Trent Green, I knew him because he's a quarterback. He used to play for the Chiefs. Almost
like you didn't need to know football to know that they were a football player.
You didn't, but I knew who they were because they kind of stand out. Like you could just tell.
Too.
Yeah. Mecole Hardman was one of them too. But even if you don't know football, like you can tell they were football players. And it was really cool.
And they're like, yeah, man, that was not cool, dude.
And they're so wooden acting.
Completely. I mean, hey, I'm not a great actor. Don't get me wrong. But
acting.
We all have our skill sets.
Better.
Yeah.
But it was cool because I've been to that stadium, and then there's just one really funny scene. So her family has had season tickets since the Chiefs first became a franchise. And one of the things was like they have this special hat. So if they wear it on Christmas and they make a Christmas wish, say the Chiefs are winning the Super Bowl, then that Christmas wish comes true. And I was like,
wish for the Dolphins to win, that would be impossible. So how would that come true?
It's a Kansas City Chiefs hat, right? So I was like, they were smart. They thought this out because I'm a sports guy. So I'm like, interesting. So you're telling me the 50 years in between Super Bowl victories, they weren't wishing for a freaking Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl win? Well, they answered it right away that the hat got stolen and then returned. And then the first time it got worn, I was like, sons of bitches, they thought of it all.
I do love when a really good plot hole is instantly explained. I'm like, kudos.
In my head, I was like, this is weird. And Carrie was like, they'll probably explain. I was like, they're probably not. And then,
everybody to have fun. Like, I don't care who wins. I just hope everybody has fun.
The
Dolphins just wish for nobody to have a perfect season every year.
That's
and then
true.
They celebrate.
God, I just need the Packers to win the Super Bowl more.
All right.
Anyways, anyways, Hallmark thing. I'm done with the Hallmark. I did read Batman Dark Patterns issue 1 from Dan Waters, Hayden Sherman, Triona Farrell. This is a horror movie come to Batman comics. Essentially, like the thing that's really cool, it's like this creepy Batman's diving in detective. There's murders happening. These murders are very vicious, very brutal. They find a guy who's just a pincushion in all these places who's just tortured to death. And it's like Seven. If anybody's seen the movie Seven, it's kind of like that. And
you
so
find out what's in the box?
You find out what the main antagonist is, and he's terrifying looking. But this is a legit horror. It's really freaking good. The artwork is amazing, and I'm really digging this story right off the bat. And then the other thing that I read this week was Alien Paradiso from Steve Fox, Edgar Salazar, Ivan Coelho, and then whoever Peter Wynn did the POV from the aliens point of view, the xenomorphs. Now, I love the Alien franchise. Essentially, there's this island of paradise on this random planet, and these cops are there essentially basically like doing a stakeout for this guy who's going to be doing a deal. Well, the guy comes and lo and behold, he has a chest burster pop out of him, and now there's a xenomorphs on the loose on the island. It's very bloody. You see head in half, like, spikes through the chest. But it's a very good comic. I like this because it's Paradise Island turned wrong. Like, I love a good story like that because it's not your typical space marines going to battle. It's very, very much different from there. But then Creature Commandos, I watched the first 2 episodes, really digging that. And then Skeleton Crew,
first 3. I'm ahead of you.
Oh, the third one's out now?
Yeah. Right? Yeah, because they dropped 2 the first week.
Oh, well, I'm behind. You are correct. My bad. And then Skeleton Crew. But sorry, long-winded. Love Hallmark. Lauren, what are you up to?
So other than Skeleton Crew and Creature Commandos, which I think we'll talk a little bit about on our live. So if you haven't seen that, you can go back. That's up on our YouTube. Dune Prophecy is just dropped episode 4. It is still really good. There weren't any shocks in it this week, but it's really like laying things into place. And I love that last week was a flashback. So this week, like you'll hear like a subtle comment and you're like, oh no shit, that's got to be that guy's kid. And so it's kind of putting it all together. But what's very interesting is it's the origin story of the Bene Gesserit, but they don't call them that yet. They're the sisterhood, and they're sisters.
Of the Traveling
like,
Pants?
Yeah, maybe. I've never seen that movie.
The
Well, they
Sisterhood
do
of
all
the
wear the same
Traveling
clothes, so it
Space
probably is
Witches,
one size fits
actually.
all. You know, I never saw that movie because that didn't make sense to me. There's not a single pair of jeans that would fit 4 different people perfectly.
Especially, was it like Blake Lively, America for
it was all girls with different body types. Like, that's impossible.
they were like nobody.
I
We're
can't
not
buy
fat shaming, but like they
No,
all were not the
everybody's
same.
different.
Yeah,
I can't buy this pair of jeans at Express.
women's hips are very meticulous.
Right, and then when you have babies, that changes stuff.
True.
Now I'm just thinking
Sorry,
about
I
my
kept cutting you
hips.
off. I'm sorry. My bad.
My hips don't lie, though. Doom prophecy. So one of the things that's very interesting is how these sisters have structured it is where if you don't have a truth sayer in your house, it must mean that you're hiding something. But they want truth sayers in all the houses so that they can hide shit and manipulate everybody. And it's so just
Oh my
absolutely
God, they are
crazy.
two-faced. I would never have guessed.
Dun, dun, dun. It's just very interesting to see like the origins of it all and like what they're, trying to prevent, which essentially comes true in Dune. But I'm really liking it. I think they're doing a really good job with it. And then I'm loving Skeleton Crew. I did finish my Hearts in Atlantis book, my Stephen King book. It was very good. It was like 4 different stories in one, but they all connected. And they mentioned the Dark Towers in one of the stories. So now after Christmas, I'll start reading that because I have started my Krampus book. My comic reviews this week were Laura Kinney, Wolverine #1 by Erica Schultz and Giada Belviso. It was good. So the last one I read, the NYX, I liked that one, but I felt like I didn't continue on that one, but I felt like it was almost targeting a younger audience, whereas I felt like this one, which makes sense because Laura Kinney is like a college kid.
Yeah.
So it would make sense that they're not targeting my 40-year-old ass or 41-year-old
They're
ass.
not. Really? Are you sure?
They should be because it really is Wolverine. No.
Have some respect.
I mean, yeah, Laura Kinney is essentially, younger than my oldest. So this one, though, I thought was really good because you really get the heart and the soul of Wolverine. She's very much so her father's daughter, but she's still kicking ass and taking names. They're dealing with the fall of Krakoa in multiple comic books right now. And the way she deals with it, of course, is in a very unhealthy way, but also in a positive way because she's kicking ass and taking names. And how it ended, we can see who she's going to go up against in issue 2. And I don't know if issue 2 is going to wrap up as pretty with who she's going to be up against. And the other thing I reviewed is The Brood #1 from Dark Horse Comics.
Yeah, we know them.
A spinoff from the World of Minor Threats. So, of course, I obviously loved it. It was by Heath Corson and Ian J. Colbert. And, of course, Nate Picos does the lettering. Again, this is from the world of that Jordan Bloom and Patton Oswalt created. All of these stories are kind of like standalone, but they all merge together. And there's one character that we've seen in all of them that I think we're actually going to start to learn a bit more about. I don't want to say who that character is. If you've read the other 4, you probably know. If anyone is interested in that and you feel like, there's already too many comics out, there's really not. It's only 4 issues in each of these.
Comics don't even take a long time to read anyways. No.
It's Minor Threats, The Alternates, Minor Threats, Fastest Way Down, Barfly, and now The Brood. And it has been it's been so fun. And to see them keep coming out with stuff, this universe is just going to keep growing. And the sooner you get in on it, I think the more amazing it's going to be. But so this guy is like a rich genius, and he's created a dual identity for himself. And there's so many nods to comic books. His fake identity is Stanley, not Stan Lee, but Stanley. And he is a very toxic father. Something's happening to him that he can't figure out. Even with all the money and whatnot in the world, you can't prevent your death no matter what you do.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting to see the family dynamics. Lots of toxic parenting throughout all of these books, which is very interesting. But it's really good. The Brood. Go check it out.
Okay. Sick. And then, of course, you've been watching the same good stuff. Creature Commandos is still living up to the hype for you.
Yeah.
It's like the highest rated thing ever. And it's the intro to the DCU. So we'll have to do a full episode on Creature Commandos at some point.
And break down what they've shown Suicide Squad was canon. So, and they mentioned something that happened at the end of Peacemaker with Amanda Waller. They mentioned that too.
Yes.
So
it's got Rick Flag's dad in it. So I thought that was pretty cool how they did tie that in a little bit. I get it. Because at first it was like, how does this play in? Like, how do you have Rick Flag's dad? But they do explain it in a decent way. So
I thought it was Rick Flag at first. That's why I was confused.
Oh no, this is Frank Grillo. So I can't wait to see him live action.
Yeah. But they're a little too short. But it was funny because I asked if Logan could watch it with me, and you're like, oh hell no. And then as soon as I started watching it, I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah. Let's go on. Let's roll into some news. We got some news coming on lately, Lauren. What do we got?
So Fallout Season 2 has started filming.
Oh, yeah. I'm so excited for that.
Invincible Season 3 will be on Prime on February 6th. You are
You're
not
excited
excited
for
for
that
that.
one.
I am excited for that one. It's best comic book
It's
ever.
MegaCon weekend, man.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Man, everything is happening that weekend, guys. It's the Super Bowl weekend, and it's my wife's birthday. Can we chill out? I don't watch Invincible, but we did get picked up for 2 panels at MegaCon. So, I mean, that's news. But guys,
can we in our MegaCon news?
I need you to calm down the first weekend of February, okay? Good Lord. Can't you do it the third weekend of February?
It's like the second weekend of February, right?
No. It's the first, isn't it?
Well, technically, it's the second because February 1st is a Saturday. The only reason I knew it was the second was because Ian can go, and Ian always works the first weekend of every month.
Oh, he's going to go that weekend? Okay, I move on. Anyways, after 12 years, the Arrowverse franchise has ended with Superman and Lois ending. Have you caught up?
I haven't caught up yet. We did mention that, but I guess I didn't realize it was 12 years of the Arrowverse ending, so I felt like it was worth mentioning again.
Yeah, honestly, my entire career it's been something I've been following, so it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah, it started when Brielle was an infant, but I didn't start watching it till The Flash, which actually we get into a little bit because they had some great Christmas episodes.
We do. Well, let's get into the fact that Deadpool and Wolverine has been nominated for a Golden Globe Award, but wait, there's more, because Colin Farrell and Kristen Milioti have also been nominated for a Golden Globe, and of course, Anthony Starr got nominated. And so
something, I don't know what it is. I think maybe it's cool. I just like nominated. I think Agatha All the Way got nominated. It's just really cool to see.
Comics, man, getting taken more seriously now. Like they're putting in work, and so it's kind of like Penguin should be like
Martin Scorsese.
Penguin should win a freaking Emmy too.
Oh,
like,
they should definitely. That wasn't even like you could have pretended that had nothing to do with. You could have changed the names.
It was just a mob story, like Sopranos, and
beautifully done mob story.
100%, 100%. Now this one caught me off guard. And people were like, "Do you don't know who this is?" I was like, "I know who it is. I mean, what? Like, why is Jeremy Allen White, excuse me, you know him as Cousin in The Bear, and
I know him as
Jabba the Hutt. That's true. Jabba the Hutt's son, Rhoda, in the new Mando and Grogu movie. Like, that's how
they confirmed it's the actual baby in Clone Wars.
Yes, and
I didn't know if maybe Jabba had another son.
He maybe, but ew. First of all, Jabba getting it freaky. Ew, how does that work for Hutts? Like, ew. I know, but like,
walruses, mate.
Yeah, but like, where does it come from?
You're thinking too much into it. Nobody needs to know.
Why is he the voice? That was very left field for me. I don't know. I'm moving on.
You know what? I think they'll make it work though. Think how many people we were like, really, that person, and then they like come out and they're like, I am this person now. You can't imagine this person now. I mean, that probably won't happen with him because it'll be CGI and whatnot. But
yeah,
they did fantastic with Zeb, so we'll see.
He did well. How do you feel about Avengers coming back, and such as Chris Evans?
Fine with it. You know what? I don't have any qualms with it. If Chris Evans wants to come back, I don't know what he's playing, who he's playing. I'm fine with it.
I have qualms.
I think it's hilarious that these people are like, I'm done with the Avengers. I'm ready to move on. And then they're like, wait, no, you're moving on without me?
Never done. Yeah, you're done. You're never done. They're all 90. Okay. I guess
was it the Alien vs. Avengers where they're all old? It's all going to be like old man whatever with all of them. And I'm so fucking here for it. I love it.
I guess like my only problem with it is like, guys, we've got Shang-Chi just chilling in the freezer. We've got, Scarlet Witch crumbling under a thing of rocks. Like, we can move on from Iron Man and Cap. Like, we've got 35 other characters we have introduced in the MCU. Kate Bishop is 45 years old. She's about to apply for AARP now. She's not young anymore. She's getting married. Yelena,
her character was 22 in Hawkeye. We were watching that last night.
I know.
Yeah, and that was 2 years ago. So she's at least 24 now. Man. And how old was Chris Evans when he got cast for Captain America?
We don't need to keep leaning on the old Avengers that, Infinity War was almost 10 years ago now. Almost. We're at 8 years almost from Infinity War. So
no,
whatever.
Are we?
Infinity War is 2017. We're about to be in 2025.
No, I wasn't pregnant.
Wasn't it? Was it 2018?
It couldn't be. It had to be 18 because I wasn't pregnant when I saw it. I was pregnant with Logan when I saw Guardians 2.
7 years.
And I think Black Panther.
Listen.
Jesus Christ. I didn't realize that. Oh my. Oh, I guess the Endgame was before COVID. Let's move on from math. What else do we have here? It has been confirmed that the time gap between Daredevil Season 3 and the new Disney Plus show is 5 years. And now our last piece of news are some MegaCon Orlando updates. Dun, dun, dun.
Everybody's coming.
More Smallville has been added. So now we have Lois Lane, Superman, Lex, Lana, and Supergirl. Super fucking Natural is coming. We have Sam, Bobby, Garth, Mary, Rowena, Crowley, and Jack are all coming to MegaCon.
Nobody cares about Jack, but everybody else.
I care very much so about Jack. And once you finish the show, you probably will care about Jack too.
Probably. Right now I don't care that Jack's there. So I'm like, okay, Jack, cool. But Crowley, even Rowena, I'm like, that's sick. And then we have a Supernatural panel Sunday morning.
Bobby.
Like Bobby too. Oh my God, dude.
So we got both our panels are already approved. So Friday, I think at 11:30, we will be hosting a panel about actors who got their start in horror movies, which it was funny. What the hell? Oh, we were watching the Guardians special last night, and the Kevin Bacon, the Jason Voorhees comes up, and I'm like, there's one of them. And then on Sunday, we will be hosting a Supernatural panel again at 11:30. We will post. We already have the rooms and everything, so follow us. We will obviously be posting those, hyping those, asking you guys questions if there's anything in particular you want us to do research on before. I think our Supernatural panel went great last year. We had a lot of back and forth. We'll have trivia. I'll try to bring pies again. And then the other people that I'm very excited about that they announced today is the Legends of Tomorrow are coming.
Brandon Routh.
Brandon Routh is also Superman. Arthur Derville, which is also in Doctor Who, and we're gonna have we're gonna have Matt Smith there. And Katie Lotz. And then we have Constantine, who is, I guess, his name is Matt Ryan. That I didn't know that until literally right now.
They also announced Twilight characters, but my girl Anna Kendrick isn't on the list. So I would like to speak to the manager.
I didn't even know she was in Twilight.
Yeah, obviously she was. Come on.
And that's all we got on news.
That's right. Let's go into our main topic now. Christmas TV shows. We're going to be talking Friends, Seinfeld, Parks and Rec, all the good stuff out there. So come back after a word from these unofficial sponsors because Spreaker hosts us, and as we're contractually obligated to play ads during our episodes. We'll see you in a second.
This holiday, BMW has reunited 3 members of the family at the BMW Road Home Sales Event. The Agile X3, engineered for any adventure. The plug-in hybrid X5, commanding the streets with unmatched presence. And the all-electric i4, charging into the future with impeccable performance. Hurry in to find what powers your journey at the BMW Road Home Sales Event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Visit Valley BMW Center today for attractive lease and finance offers.
Looking for excitement? Chumba Casino is here. Play anytime, play anywhere. Play on the train, play at the store, play at home, play when you're bored. Play today for your chance to win and get daily bonuses when you log in. So what are you waiting for? Don't delay. Chumba Casino is free to play.
Experience social gameplay like never before. Go to Chumba Casino right now to play hundreds of games, including online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Live the Chumba life at ChumbaCasino.com.
VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
All right, we're all set for the party. I've trimmed the tree, hung the mistletoe, and paired all those weird-shaped knives and forks with the appropriate cheeses. And I plugged in the Bartesian.
Bartesian?
It's a home cocktail maker that makes over 60 premium cocktails, plus a whole lot of seasonal favorites, too. I just got it for $50 off. So, how about a Cosmopolitan or a mistletoe margarita?
I'm thirsty.
Watch. I just pop in a capsule, choose my strength, and...
Wow, it's beginning to feel more seasonal in here already.
If your holiday party doesn't have a bartender, then you become the bartender. Unless you've got a Bartesian, because Bartesian crafts every cocktail perfectly in as little as 30 seconds. And I just got it for $50 off.
'Tis the season to be jollier.
Add some holiday flavor to every celebration with the sleek, sophisticated home cocktail maker, Bartesian. Get $50 off any cocktail maker at bartesian.com/cocktail. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail.
What's up? It's Christmas time. Yeah, man, we're talking, Christmas TV shows. So we got some good things. We'll kind of go do some back and forth here. Lauren, do you want to go ahead and start us off? Because just like our Thanksgiving, Christmas TV episodes were always just heartfelt and fun. And more often than not, it was close to that like winter finale of the TV series. You don't really get them like you used to, of course. You kind of do, but yeah, why don't you go ahead and hit us off with your 35 Friends episodes?
I only have one Friends episode.
Whoa! What?
The Friends episodes weren't like Thanksgiving was their main go-to holiday. The Christmas ones weren't as like memorable. They weren't as focused on Christmas. So the one though that I had to mention was the one with the holiday armadillo. So that is in season 7, came out in 2000. This is the one where Ross wants to tell Ben about Hanukkah. Because if you're raising a kid that's half Jewish and half Christmas, our household is a perfect example. They are just inundated with Christmas. Everywhere you go, outside the house, inside the house, it's all Santa, it's all presents, it's all Christmas. So it made sense. Like Ross wanted to teach him about Hanukkah. So he wants to, talk about the Maccabees. I'm saying it how he says and talk about all this. But Ben, his son, is upset, who's Cole Sprouse, that he didn't get a Santa costume.
Cole
he wanted to be
Sprouse?
Santa. Yeah, you didn't know that was their son?
Lauren, I don't watch Friends.
I know, but I feel like it's just like common knowledge. Like there's shows I don't watch, but I still like know things about them.
No.
Like Modern Family, I never watched that, but I still like know things about it because it's just so out there. All right. So Chandler ends up getting a Santa costume, and then Joey ends up getting a Superman costume. And then the holiday armadillo teaches them about Christmas. And at the end, Chandler says, my favorite part was when Superman flew all the Jews out of Egypt. And they wrap up the episode where they're lighting the Hanukkah candles, and Rachel and Phoebe walk in and they're like, why does it look like the Easter Bunny's funeral in here? And it was really cute. And then at the very end, like Joey's scared of tarantulas, and there's a tarantula in that episode. And Rachel's like, it's okay. The tarantula's back in the cage all locked up. And she's like, it's safe to come out. And he comes out looking all scared in his Superman costume. Very cute episode. So the holiday armadillo costume actually came from real life inspiration. When one of the writers, they needed to rent a clown costume for their nephew's birthday. I don't know why anybody would do that. That sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
But the costume store was all out of clown suits. He asked what else they had that was funny, and the clerk showed him a giant armadillo costume. And actually, I saw a picture in some parade somewhere. Someone was dressed as the holiday armadillo.
Oh.
There you go.
That's kind of nice. I, for my first one, actually went with a Ted Lasso episode because this one was pretty awesome.
You would.
I did, yeah. It's Carol of the Bells. So this is from season 2, episode not season 2, episode 11. I am sorry. But it is from season 2, nonetheless. And so where did my notes disappear to? There they are. Ted Lasso. So Ted goes on a secret mission with Rebecca because, he was on FaceTime with his ex-wife and his son. His son goes out to play with the drone. She hangs up on him. He just kind of is down the dumps. And that's when Rebecca shows up at his house, can tell that, he's lifting up, man. And so they go to deliver toys to underprivileged kids. Meanwhile, Higgins invites the team over to the house for a Christmas party, and Keely and Roy are gonna plan for a sexy Christmas, but his sister has a medical emergency, so he ends up taking his niece. And it turns out his niece was being bullied for bad breath in school. And because of that, she was very self-conscious. They go find an emergency dentist.
Her breath is terrible.
Yes. And so it's like they get her medicine, and then they show up at the bully's door, and it's like, hey, you hurt her feelings, you hurt my feelings, and everything. It's very heartfelt, very, everything about this is sweet. And the episode ends outside of Higgins' house, where everybody goes outside and they join Rebecca and Ted to sing a beautiful song. And yeah, man, I don't know. Ted Lasso, God, it's just one of those shows that gets me in my feelings.
When this episode came out, Josh and I were still catching up, and everybody was posting about the Christmas episode and talking about the Christmas episode. And what's interesting, it's not really an episode where they're dealing with much. It's almost like just basic life and BS kind of things, but it wasn't they didn't follow, I feel like, the typical style for a TV show where it's
more about everybody's family.
Yeah, it was just different things going on, and it was just it was just fun, I guess. And it came out in the summer, and so it wasn't even festive time. But yeah, I didn't do that one because you watched it first, and I know the show is very near and dear to your heart. Yeah, so
it is.
Hey, and both the shows we just mentioned had a Phoebe. What are the odds?
I did. What are the odds? Such a good show. My second one was How I Met Your Mother, man. My other favorite show. Season 2, episode 11, How Lily Stole Christmas. And so if you remember at the end of season 1 of How I Met Your Mother, Lily ditches Marshall to go to San Francisco.
Grinch.
Yes. Well, she hears a recording from Ted on the answering machine. If you don't know what that is, kids, once upon a time, it's basically the voicemail, but there was an actual machine to play, right? And so he calls Lily, in his words, a Grinch. Come on, we know what really he's trying to say. First of all, though, she freaks out, gets upset. She takes all the Christmas decorations out of the apartment to her own little shack.
Well, being a girl and being called that word is pretty bad, I think.
Is it?
I'd rather be called a dick. I'd rather be called an asshole. I'd rather be called just about anything other than a bitch. Yeah, because it's targeted towards girls, so it almost comes across as derogatory. That's just my personal opinion.
No, this is all good.
If Josh calls me an asshole, fine. If Josh calls me a bitch, you ain't seen bitch yet. If that makes any sense.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up, and that's good to know because I guess not my upbringing, but like the climate of my workplace is rougher. And so like, I guess people call each other that very often and things like that. And would not have thought that was the case,
Well, I think it's, using it in a playful way, like, stop being a little bit or something like that. But I don't know. It's just like
if somebody calls you like, hey, you're being a
way.
a Grinch right now. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I totally get what you're saying.
Not even like, I don't even think he said she's being one. Didn't he flat out call her one? Because I feel like those are two different things too.
He did. But I'm going to be honest though. Like, I'm going to take Ted's side on this because she did leave Marshall, his best friend, up and left.
Well, he was defending his best friend, 100%. Yeah.
He was. And granted, Ted, like it was on an answering machine, water on the board. I feel like they could have handled it better. She takes all the decorations and is mad. And Marshall loves Christmas and they don't want Marshall to come home to an empty apartment because he's out doing his stuff. And so like Ted won't apologize. And I'm sorry, but I kind of agree because she left. And he's like, why should I apologize? You're the one who left. And he was in pieces. And who was there to pick up the pieces? It was me, Lily. Like, you just left. You told me you wouldn't leave and you left. And I get it, but like, it's a very deep episode amongst all the Christmas like shenanigans that go on. Because Ted and Robin are dating at this point. So things are good with them. And, Barney's Barney. But, it is just one of those things where it's like, they never really like address the fact that head on, she left, man. And how did it impact everybody else besides Marshall, like to just leave? And that's why it's one of my favorites. And then also I'm like Marshall Erickson at heart. Freaking love Christmas. I'm the same. I'm a kid. I'm like Marshall. I'm not a lawyer, nor will I ever be.
I don't recommend it.
Yeah. So that's why I had to pick this one, man. This is like my favorite show. And that was up there for me.
What's interesting is I remember watching this and being like, God, I wish I was with a guy who was this into Christmas because obviously my husband grew up without Christmas. Josh has embraced Christmas since, especially Jack Skellington.
Josh gets down. He had his nice little Jack Skellington suit jacket for the party.
He's definitely embraced it and whatnot. But at first, when you don't grow up with it, he doesn't have that nostalgia value. And so it was like the idea of he would get overwhelmed when I would decorate for Christmas. Now he's just accepted it's a matter of life or it's part of life and that's what's happening. But this year he's the one that decided to buy the giant Jack Skellington that's still in our front yard holding a Christmas ornament. But I do very much so remember that being like, I wish Josh would come home and be like, wow, look at all this Christmas decor. This is amazing. And I'd be like, thank you.
That's me. That's literally me. Like when Carrie, she'll decorate now when I'm gone because she knows how excited I get when I go home. I'll walk in, I'm like, oh, like the Christmas blanket. I like sleep on the couch because like she makes these magical Christmas blankets and they just like do magical wonders. And I'm just like, and then just the thought of like falling asleep next to a lit up Christmas tree. We have our Christmas village that's lit up. Like something is so magical and I sleep like a freaking baby. I love it.
Fell asleep on the couch last night.
Yeah. See, and then converse, like on the opposite side, she has to take everything down when I'm gone because she knows it's going to depress the hell out of her. So I come home to an empty house. Then I'm just like,
see, Josh is happy because all of a sudden everything feels so clean and like not crowded. Like he used to try to take the stuff down like the day after Christmas. Now he knows to wait.
No.
Okay, so here's for those of you who aren't big into Christmas. Happy Festivus to you and yours. So this is from Seinfeld. This is a great episode. So Festivus, for those of you who don't know or didn't watch Seinfeld, it is a secular holiday usually celebrated on the 23rd of December. It's supposed to kind of be the opposite of Christmas because Christmas is over commercialization and all this feel-good stuff. Well, Mr. Costanza does not like that. So in December of 97, we got the episode The Strike. And we learn about Festivus, which is a holiday that George Costanza's father created. There is a poll to air your grievances, and this is called the airing of grievances. This is an opportunity to tell others how much they have disappointed you this past year. And then they have the Festivus dinner. And Festivus is not completed until you have the, quote, feats of strength. This is where somebody gets picked, and they have to literally pin like wrestling down the head of the household. Okay. And that's Festivus. Were you not aware of Festivus?
I vaguely knew, but I was never could get into Seinfeld either. I'm sorry. Like, so my thing is I was born in 90 obs. And so like, I never like, I missed the boat, I guess, on.
I did not watch it in order. I've only seen it in syndication.
I've watched.
I do remember watching the finale live, but
I've watched bits and pieces of like Friends and Seinfeld, but they just never were for me, I guess. I don't know. I missed the train on those. Like Scrubs and How I Met Your Mother were my like coming of age stuff, like for people who are friends. Yeah.
Well, what do you got next before I dive into some CW?
Speaking of Scrubs,
I have a lot still.
I have Scrubs. I don't have a lot, so I only have 3 more, honestly. So I have, 3 more. So Scrubs, my best moment. JD is supposed to tell like the pre-med students like what his worst moments were, but instead he tells them about his best moments. And so it starts by one of his worst moments, or one of his best moments for him was when, he was delivering her baby. Then he ended up having sex with the baby's grandma. And then
I read that very wrong. And then I remembered that episode. Okay.
It turns into Dr. Cox, who doesn't trust JD. And so Carla has JD's back, and JD, Dr. Cox are always butting heads, especially on the early seasons, because Dr. Cox was Dr. Cox. And so from there, a man named
Hugh Jackman.
That's true. A man named Mr. Milligan comes in. He doesn't have insurance, so they try to like, hey, can we keep him? Dr. Cox promised he'd get him home for Christmas, but Dr. Kelso was like, nope, get out of here. Very relevant, right? Health insurance? Jesus Christ. But so Mr. Milligan's son, Tyler, comes in. Dr. Kelso takes a liking to Tyler, and so he decides, yeah, you can stay. Well, turns out JD successfully he called what was wrong with Mr. Milligan, which was a ruptured spleen. They rush him into surgery. They save him. Tyler gets to watch his dad being saved. From that point on, Dr. Cox ends up trusting JD. And then it turns out that this is the entire crew's favorite moment from Christmas. And this show, God, I love this show. Like Scrubs, man, is a show I will rewatch till forever and always, just like How I Met Your Mother, right? Like both shows necessarily didn't end well. They tried to backdoor pilot in a new series with Dave Franco, but man, Scrubs was so good. And this is why these moments right here, like Scrubs was heartfelt. It was funny. And I love Turk and JD's relationship. Like in this episode, there's a scene of them like in a theater watching things go down. Just the relationship reminds me of some of my relationships. And so it's right here in the heart, man. Good Christmas.
I really
episode.
love the ending of that show too. I thought they did a beautiful job ending
was
it.
so
They brought it
sad.
back immediately, but
Yeah.
But it was a happy ending.
Nope, it ended right there. We never brought it back. It was over right there.
That's fair. So X-Men the Animated Series did a Christmas episode in season 4 called "Have Yourself a Morlock Little Xmas," not Christmas, Xmas.
Get it?
So Wolverine is being Wolverine and being a Grinch while he's ice skating with Storm and Jubilee, and some Morlocks crash an ambulance because Leech is sick, and Storm demands that Wolverine try and give Leech his blood to help him. Of course, a grumpy and reluctant Wolverine's like, "Grr, grr, grr." He eventually does it. He saves him, and all is well. This is very short. If you want to watch something like with the kids real quick, I recommend putting this on because it is fun, and it's so silly to watch these older shows. This is not X-Men 97. This is old school X-Men, the animated series. But you get like Beast makes a non-alcoholic holiday brew. Gambit and Phoenix are in the kitchen fighting over cooking because Gambit wants to add cayenne and flavor to everything, and she doesn't because she wants it to be a traditional Christmas thing. And of course, there's a sad little Charlie Brown Christmas tree in the sewers with the Morlock. And then Logan makes a joke about getting OJ and Cookie because he gave his blood. But it's so funny to like see these like silly jokes in this show and how cheesy it is, but like how, I don't want to say grounded because that is definitely the wrong way, I think, to describe the X-Men animated series.
Well, they deal with like really important issues though at the same time, I feel like.
Yeah. But they're it's done well, but it's done cheesy and it's done funny. And it's like it's like one of those things like sometimes to appreciate humor, you have to stop and be like, wait, what just happened? Let's watch that again.
Yeah. Yes, I very much agree. That one's
a fun one to go back and check out.
I'll throw in that I've already talked about this on our short 15-minute episode of Top Threes, but it is Batman animated series Christmas with the Joker. He escapes. Batman and Robin were going to have a nice night in, watch, a Christmas movie, The Meaning of Christmas. Robin was going to give it to Batman. Joker gets away. But if you want to listen to that more, we dropped an episode.
Yes, same with Hawkeye. We got lots of fun facts about Echo from the Hawkeye series. We did that on that one too.
Yes. So I really only have one more left, so I'll save this. Do you want to hit a couple of yours before I get to my last one?
Mine are all CW. I got Arrowverse, Smallville, and of course I'm going to wrap up with Supernatural. So the Arrowverse had many great Christmas specials. The highest rated one was Flash, season 1, episode 9. This is called The Man in the Yellow Suit. I'm assuming this is a nod to Curious George, as Curious George was the man in the yellow suit. So it's during the holidays. And of course, I love when the shows just kick off with great Christmas music, get you right in the spirit. And in this is when the Flash confronts Reverse Flash. And this is the episode where we find out who the Reverse Flash is. We find out that, Dr. Wells is not exactly Dr. Wells and that he can walk. So it was a big reveal because these Christmas episodes too, whether they focused on Christmas or not, they were always the mid-season finale, so you were left for like a month at least, so they usually had decent endings.
They would leave you like on the edge of your seat, like, oh, Christmas, haha, yay, and then oh god, they left off with Tom Cavanaugh.
Yeah. What's interesting, this is still only season 1, but it was the first episode to be TV-14. Got a little gritty there. So you also have like Arrow's 3 Ghosts, which was in season 2, and Oliver's dying. Barry's there to help. But what's really cool about this episode is at the very end of this episode is when Barry gets struck by lightning. And so Flash had not started yet. So this was December, I think 2013. The following October, they used the exact same scene in the Flash pilot. So I thought that was kind of cool that you have that.
Yeah.
And of course, Legends of Tomorrow, you got Bebo, God of War, where the Bebo thing where they're making fun of like Elmo and Furby and whatnot becomes a god to the Vikings.
I do. Oh my God. It's so funny when they do that because it's this cute little creature and then it's just causing mayhem and it's just chaos.
He's like, Bebo's hungry. They're like, the gods want you to sacrifice Mick.
Such an dude. It was probably like the best W show out of the bunch. I mean, granted, it's hard to be like the first couple seasons of Arrow and Flash, but like CW Legends of Tomorrow was consistently like just so much fun. I felt like with, what's his name from Prison Break, who was like Heatwave.
2 of them.
They both were. Yeah. Dominic Purcell and I forget the other name.
I don't know either their real names.
But
it
was good, and they were just like this ragtag crew and going across space and time. And Rory, that was like after Doctor Who, so he was like a big name at the time coming to the show. And all
Nate
that
shows up. I thought Nate was fantastic. He's so funny. The thing is, Legends of Tomorrow progressively got better, whereas everything else I feel like jumped the shark before they quit, except Superman and Lois. I don't think they've jumped the shark. I have not watched the finale yet, but it's just a very different thing. Legends of Tomorrow was aware of what they were. They made fun of what they were. And you know what? Sarah Lance is a huge Supernatural fan. So shout out to that.
That's true. That is true. But like this was a show that doesn't get the rec.
I agree 100%. And if you gave up on it, it's on Netflix. Go check it out because it didn't start off strong, but it got strong quick and it stayed strong. So I have Smallville and I'll let you take over and then I'll wrap up with some Supernatural. So Smallville, Lex Smith came out in 2005. So Lex is shot on Christmas Eve while being mugged and he goes into a coma. So while he's sleeping, he imagines a possible life in the future where he has given up his father and his father's money and he's married to Lana with a son and there's a kid on the way. And this is potentially what could happen in the future if he drops out of the election he's currently in. Everyone is so nice to him and it's so weird to see everybody, like even Clark's dad is like, Jonathan Kent's like, oh, you're such a great man, Lex, whereas he's a flat out dick to him in Smallville. Like even when the kid doesn't deserve it, he's a dick to him. But in real life, so everyone's so nice to him, but unfortunately Lana, who is pregnant, ends up hemorrhaging and dying. Before she dies, Lex reaches out to his dad, Lionel, and he's like, hey, can you get money? Can you get doctors? Can you do something to save my wife? And he tells him no. Meanwhile, in the real world, Lionel is doing everything he can to save his son. Not because he's a good guy, it's because he doesn't want a, quote, cripple for a son. So obviously he's terrible, but he does save Lex. We also get the real Santa shows up in that. So it's interesting. If you're a Smallville fan, there is Talkville, the podcast, and it's Michael Rosenbaum and Tom Welling. I actually went and listened to the Lex Smith episode today to get some fun facts. So this was one of Tom Welling's favorite episodes, which is, I think it shows how good it is too, because it's an episode where he's not the main character. Michael Rosenbaum is the main character in this.
Right. Which is always good when they take it, like those are some of the best Supernatural, not some of the best, but like it's always fun when like in Supernatural, for example, Dean and Sam and Dean are side characters to their own show almost. They're like the ghost phasers, right? They randomly stumble into there. Those are some of the most fun because it's essential to the plot, but also you're just in for a fun episode.
When you get to see a different perspective, which is, I think, always great. I mean, that's very much so light. But Michael Rosenbaum said he did not know how to act in this. And that actually helped because Lex did not know how to act in this. So he felt it helped him do a better portrayal of the character. And at one point, Michael Rosenbaum, who's Lex, ad-libbed, what the Obviously, he didn't say it all the way out because it was a CW show, but they kept it in.
This reminds me, actually, I watched the Sabrina Carpenter nonsense Christmas special. It was funny because she's like, this is TV-14, which means I get to say fuck 3 times. And then she says it. I don't know. Like, I enjoyed it for what it was. That just reminded me of that TV-14. Like, I get to say it this many times. And then she says it twice. And then at the very end, as it's going off air, she says it. And it's comedic humor. I loved it. Anyways, I digress. My final one. Was that all for that one?
You're good. Parks and Rec we go?
Well, yes. My final one is the Parks and Rec Andy and April's Fancy Party special. So Andy and April's party turns into a surprise wedding. However, Leslie does not approve because they've only been dating for a month. Meanwhile, Ben debates whether to stay in Pawnee and Donna gives advice at a singles mixer. So from that point, they know it's kind of a thing. So Tom keeps trying to throw Andy a bachelor party. Meanwhile, Leslie's trying to stop it. Ron's like, Leslie, stop. What are you doing? You can't stop this, because essentially they're going to get married no matter what. And there's no right or wrong way to do it. And it's kind of connects because like Carrie and I knew each other for a month. We got pregnant and we got married like 3 months later. And here we are 10 years later.
Yeah, it worked out.
It did. Although Leslie plans to object during the ceremony, she cannot bring herself to do it. Ben comes to accept the marriage. Andy and April officially become husband and wife. And like I said, Ron explains to Leslie that she did not object because deep down that she knew that Andy and April would get married no matter what, and that there's no correct way to do things when it comes to what matters to the heart, using his own 2 former marriages as an example. During the reception, April privately tells Leslie how much she appreciates her, flattering Leslie. Andy makes a speech to the guests where he calls Tom his best man, much to Tom's delight. He then tells the crowd that life is short and he and April simply did what makes them happy. Taking Andy's advice, Leslie asks Ben to stay in Pawnee. He surprises her by revealing that he has already accepted Chris's job offer. Yeah, man, it's one of those things that like life really is too short. It resonates with me because I live my life like, dudes, we could die tomorrow. Life is way too short. Like, take that trip, take that chance, take that risk, ask that question. It's going to be a no. Like half the things we do with this podcast, I ask because it's already going to be a no unless I ask. Like if you don't ask that thing, it's going to be no. Or you don't do that thing, you could regret it. And so that's why I love episodes like this. Back when Chris Pratt was actually cool, before he got super jacked in shape, left his wife.
Star-Lord married Death.
Before he left Anna Faris because he got super hot and sexy, and weirdly religious for Arnold Schwarzenegger's daughter. But yeah, dude, like life is just too short, man. Life is too short. And that's what this episode is about. So that's why I chose this episode.
Speaking of life being too short, this was supposed to be Dean Winchester's last Christmas because he had sold his soul.
Last Christmas, I gave you my soul, and the very next day
you said I only had a year. So A Very Supernatural Christmas was in season 3. This episode is so freaking fantastic. You have comedy, you have flashbacks, my bad. And you have heart and you have gore. They hit all of them. And so this one, I actually re-listened to the podcast for this as well, the Supernatural Then and Now podcast. If you haven't watched this yet, I highly recommend it. You even have the scene where they think like the one Santa is like Krampus or whatever, and they bust into his trailer and he's watching porn. And because they heard yelling and it was the porn. And so they bust in and this drunk Santa's like, hey, what's up? And Dean just starts singing Silent Night. And the porn drunk Santa was like, oh, this is so nice, like carolers. Like it was like a gross moment that was also sweet because you're like, this isn't a creepy guy, this is just a really sad, lonely guy that really likes Christmas. He was the real tragic story in this episode. It wasn't the people that were murdered by the pagan gods or anything. So I do have some fun facts for this. When the Anti-Claus or the pagan god gets the one guy, the dad, in the sack and carries him down the stairs and you hear thud, thud.
Oh,
thud.
Yeah.
That's a real person in that bag. So they had a stuntman in that bag. The kids who did the flashbacks, we obviously see both of them more than once. They played young Dean and Sam more than once. But Colin Ford, he played young Sam. He also plays young Jared on Walker. So they actually called him years later and were like, hey, I think Jared actually called him. And he was like, hey, do you want to play young me again? And he's like, sure. There is a picture that the director of the episode has with the pagan gods who look, very much so like 50s, like, oh, fudge, and doing the whole Christmas thing. There's Superman posing with the tree branches sticking out of their chest. So that's a cute little thing. So this episode aired in December 2007. And the following year, a movie called Thomas Kincaid's Christmas Cottage came out starring Jared Padalecki. So he must have already been
was
cast.
This the one I sent you the picture of?
Probably. So on the back of the motel door, it actually says the Thomas Kincaid Suite with a painting that looks a bit like Thomas Kincaid. If you don't know who that is, if you've ever seen the paintings where it looks like actual candles in the window, that's Thomas Kincaid.
I love that.
So this special presentation at the beginning is something CBS used to do in like the 70s and 80s before special shows. Guardians of the Galaxy did it. I already created one for us to air it for when we do our live variety show. We're going to have a special presentation. So this episode's fantastic. There are rumors that Jared spiked the eggnog at the end because Dean's reaction seemed very genuine. They asked the director on when they were interviewed him, he's like, I don't remember that. He goes, but that's definitely like on par for what Jared and Jensen would have done.
Yeah. I love their friendship, man. I do.
Such a great thing. A couple other shout outs we want to give. I did ask on Instagram. So Gibson James Putt said Community. They did a super cute claymation episode. So shout out to that. Michael Schwartz said Roseanne, where she gets to meet Santa. Roseanne usually did really good Halloween episodes and Christmas. Like they did good holiday episodes.
Boy,
I
what a
used to love
fall
that
off.
show back in the 90s. I really did. But in the 90s was ahead of its time. Stacey said the first Simpsons Christmas episode where you meet Santa's
good
little
call.
helper. Yes. Gotta love Santa's little helper. And also another shout out to The Office. I did not get fun.
I've never gotten to The Office either, so I didn't put any of those.
No, I watched The Office, but I just, thanks for making Jesus' birthday so boring. I'm sorry your birthday's boring, Jesus. There's some great The Office Christmas episodes.
And also some extra shout outs we want to give to our patrons. So Lee, Corey, Aunt Lynn, of course, Tabby, Scott, Patrick, Stacy, Jess, Tracy, and Micah. On the 22nd, we are going to be doing our Patreon movie night at 9 p.m. Eastern, where we are going to watch Die Hard together and talk about how it's a Christmas movie and have fun. If you want to get on that action, dude, patreon.com/hopsgeeknews. Check it out. You get ad-free episodes and you get to do monthly movie watches where we all just hang out and have a good time. But aside from that, we are going to be doing our Secret Santa beforehand. And then next week, we are going to be talking about Silent Night, Deadly Night. But before we talk about that, we will be going live with our first ever Christmas variety show on December 19th, 8 p.m. Eastern, where we've had people send in fun clips that we will play throughout the live hour that we're doing. And, some other fun stuff. Maybe I'll be doing some Hallmark specials, maybe. But if you want to get on that too, go ahead. And if you got a special talent, maybe you want to talk about Christmas or something, shoot us a video at hopsgeeknews@gmail.com and we will play it live during our live variety show December 19th. As always, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. Go check us out. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe, share, tell a friend, leave a review. And until next time, everybody, thanks for hanging out with us. Cheers.
This holiday, BMW has reunited 3 members of the family at the BMW Road Home Sales Event. The Agile X3, engineered for any adventure. The plug-in hybrid X5, commanding the streets with unmatched presence. And the all-electric i4, charging into the future with impeccable performance. Hurry in to find what powers your journey at the BMW Road Home Sales Event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Visit Valley BMW Center today for attractive lease and finance offers.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.